Hi, this is Dale Buchanan, the host of Puppy Talk Podcast. Before we get started today, I wanted to let you know of my new book, The Complete Puppy Training Manual. It's available on Amazon in 4 formats: Kindle ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. You can find it on Amazon right now. It's called The Complete Puppy Training Manual, and I will put a link in the show notes of this episode. I'm Dale Buchanan, and this is Puppy Talk, the podcast that offers advice on how to raise a healthy, happy, and obedient puppy. This podcast is sponsored by Top Gun Dog Training. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast now so you don't miss a single episode of Puppy Talk. Welcome to Puppy Talk episode number 24. Today, I would like to talk about the major Biden bite incident at the White House yesterday. This has become a very hot topic in the dog training and dog behavior consulting community. A lot of people have posted their comments on it online on Facebook and Instagram. I just wanted to go over a couple of things here and talk to people about what you need to do in order to help prevent this from happening, and what has to happen once it's happened, and what you need to do when something like this happens to your own dog. First of all, I want to mention that this is not dog training that we're going to talk about. This is dog behavior modification. And the difference is dog training, you're teaching a dog a new novel skill, such as sit, down, stay, come, wait, leave it, walking on a loose leash, and so forth. Behavior modification, you're changing behaviors. You're changing the dog's association to the triggers, the stimulus, the antecedents, because the dog is reacting negatively to certain triggers and certain stimulus. So we want to make sure that we change the associations to change the behavior that the dog has to the situation. Let me also mention that dog behavior consulting is not a quick fix. This is not something that happens overnight. Just to start a dog behavior consulting case, we need to do a 90 to 120 minute consultation and evaluation of the dog's behavior. This is going to start with a couple of different things. If it's a dog bite, which, the media is going to change things around a little bit to protect the president and to protect the dog and to make things look more dramatic. So we don't really know what happened. We weren't there. We don't know everything. All we do know is that the dog has left the White House. It's back in Delaware, and it probably needs to go through some behavior modification training. And this is where a dog trainer or a dog behavior consultant is going to work with Major so that the likelihood of him going back to the White House and repeating these unwanted behaviors is going to be minimized. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a dog behavior questionnaire when we are going to meet with the owners of a dog that has done a bite. And another thing that I want to mention is on the Ian Dunbar scale, you hear some papers rattling around here in the background. On the Ian Dunbar scale, this is a level 1 or level 2 bite. Level 1 is obnoxious or aggressive behavior, but no skin contact by teeth. Level 2 is skin contact by teeth, but no skin puncture. However, maybe skin nicks less than 1/10 of an inch deep and slight bleeding caused by forward or lateral movement of teeth against skin, but no vertical punctures. On the Ian Dunbar bite scale, there are 6 different levels, 6 being the most severe of the victim being dead. 1, like I said, being obnoxious or aggressive behavior. So this is around a level 1 or level 2. It's not that serious if the media is correct about it being just a little nip on the staff, or I guess it was a Secret Service agent's hand or arm or something like that. We don't know where. They didn't say where the dog bit the person. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go in and we need to do a dog behavior questionnaire. We want to look at the antecedents. There's 6 different steps here. When does the dog's problem behavior occur? Where does the dog's problem behavior occur? Who was present when the problem occurred? Was President Biden there? Was Joe Biden there? Who was around? Are there times when the behavior is not a problem? What is happening just before the behavior? And can the behavior be brought on by doing something? Those are the 6 things that we want to look at first. Those are giving us information on the antecedents. In other words, we don't know from the media's information why Major acted this way. There was some information in some of the press releases that said Major has jumped and barked and lunged at other people before, and those could be looked at as aggressive behaviors, or those could just be looked at as German Shepherd behaviors, because we also have to look at the breed. So again, we don't know everything. We would get this information and we would use it to find out the next step, which are the consequences. What happens immediately after the dog engages in the behavior? Is somebody petting the dog? Is somebody scolding the dog? Is somebody running away from the dog? What do family members or observers do when the behavior occurs? Is the dog getting rewarded for the behavior? And this is usually very common, that the dog is getting talked to and touched and redirected and moved around, and they're getting rewarded for doing a behavior, and that behavior is being reinforced. So we don't know any of this information. Is the dog getting out of doing something with that behavior? We don't know if the staff member of the White House had asked the dog to move aside so he can get by. Maybe he was carrying something. We don't know if he had a gun. We don't know if he had a hat or a backpack, or he was with somebody else. We don't know any information. All the media says is the dog bit a staff member of the White House. I think it was a Secret Service agent. So we don't know that. So we have to find out all of this information first, and then we're going to go into the next phase. What are the possible reasons why the dog is doing that? And I'll take you through a few of these, which may give you something so we can, and we also have to put this into context, and we're going to get to that in just a second. So is the dog doing this behavior to get attention, to get rewards, to escape from doing something, to get sensory pleasure, such as watching, sniffing, listening, touching, tasting, to communicate needs, such as exercise or go outside? And then we get into the good stuff here. Is this something that's genetics, hardwired, instinctive, such as terriers digging or collies herding? This is a German Shepherd, so it is a herding breed. It does have specific needs. And if those needs aren't being met, if it's not getting enough exercise, enrichment, mental stimulation, socialization, it could have all this pent-up energy, and it could release it yesterday when the staff member came close to him. We don't know. This is a lot of stuff that we have to find out. And then there's learning history. Did the dog learn to react this way when there was the antecedents present? That's another thing we need to find out. And then medical. Is the dog medically sound? Make sure that the vet is, or a veterinary behaviorist is going to check out this dog, and that there's nothing medically going on with this dog, such as illness, pain or discomfort due to health issues or injuries, or any medical side effects or medication side effects. So there's a lot of things there that we just don't know. And another thing I want to mention is, like I mentioned before, we got to put this into context of being in the White House. Imagine you're a dog, you move to the White House, you've been there for a couple of months, and then you're stressed out. This is a high stress situation for any dog. For a 3-year-old German Shepherd, it's going to be a lot of stress, stimulation, tension, anxiety right off the bat. Even if the dog was well trained, even if the dog was a perfect dog, which no dog is perfect. So we got to put all of that into context. My opinion, I think it's a great idea that the dog went back to Delaware. But the dog is going to have to get some behavior modification Impulse control and frustration tolerance are two things that need to be worked on with this dog by a trainer or a dog behavior consultant. And when the dog is more stabilized, it can come back into the White House. But the worst thing that they want to do is rush the dog back into the White House. You don't want that to be the case. I heard the dog was coming back to the White House on March 11th. That means it was only in Delaware for 2 or 3 days. That's not long enough. If you don't work on the dog away from the White House, it's most likely going to have these behaviors again because there's so much going on there. There's so much stimuli. There's so many things happening. So the dog has to be able to be comfortable in that situation. And management is going to be a big part of that too. If they aren't managing, here's the thing. Why was the dog even accessible to a staff member of the White House? It should have been on a leash next to somebody who was handling or managing the dog, or in a crate when there was people around. Any dog should have had that management. It doesn't matter who it is. So these are just a few things to keep in mind when you're looking at behavior modification for a bite incident of any dog. This information has very little to do with the situation that happened at the White House with Major Biden, and more to do with learning what to do to prevent situations like this happening, and what to do if something like this does happen in your house. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at puppytalkpodcast.com. Have a great day.
This is Dale Buchanan, host of Puppy Talk Podcast. I have an announcement of a new book that I just published called Potty Training Your Puppy. It's available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback, soon to be available on audiobook. You can find out all the details of this book using the link in the show notes. It's called Potty Training Your Puppy. It's a comprehensive book with a simple and effective way to help potty train your puppy, and it really works. Check out the link in the show notes.